Among those evacuated from Wuhan in the first two airlifts is a South Korean man getting ready to be released from quarantine. He shared with Arirang News what life was like during the 14 days in this country, as well as life back in the Chinese city. He will be referred to as M, as he didn't want to be identified. Kyung-eun has the full story.
M left for Wuhan on January 19th for a business trip. He said there were only a few confirmed cases back then. But the situation rapidly worsened, and he and 6 of his co-workers suddenly found themselves locked down in the epicenter of the outbreak with barely anyone to help them.
Wuhan is a big city with a population of 11 million, so it is hard to find and connect to other Koreans there. So I mostly talk with my fellow workers on how to deal with the situation, like getting food and masks, as well as transportation, because none of the taxis were operating.
Then he saw on the news that the South Korean government was planning to send a charter flight to Wuhan. He recalled that although there were some rocky moments, he had no worries because of the government's swift communication.
The flight was postponed 2 times, but I had faith that it would come. And it came within 3 days, which I'm really grateful for. Also, the government constantly kept us updated on the situation through email, like how the negotiations were going, when the flight would be sent, and what time I should get ready by.
On January 31st, he arrived in Jincheon County, where he was given an individual room with a bathroom and was provided with masks and sanitizers. That day was the only time he saw or interacted with any staff, as everything there is done in a way that keeps staff and evacuees apart.
All meals are brought right to your door, and they let you know through a broadcast. And when you go out to pick them up, there's no one outside. I saw them only once when 4 of them came in for testing.
He also had no encounters with his fellow evacuees. They're allowed to move within the facility, but most of them, he said, stayed inside their designated rooms to avoid any potential spread of the disease. With such tight disinfection measures by the staff and the self-quarantine by the evacuees, he said he had no fear throughout the whole time in Jincheon.
Personally, there was nothing inconvenient. I also felt no fear because of the strict disinfection and hygiene measures.
He also thanked the people of Jincheon for accepting the entry of evacuees. During the 2-week period, he was tested 2 times upon arrival and on Thursday, which is 2 days before his release. And finally, on Saturday, M will leave the center along with 172 others at around 10 a.m. Some 500 other evacuees who are housed in the city of Asan will also be freed over the weekend. Kyung-eun, Arirang News.